Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be giving you my review of the Covergirl Healthy Elixir Foundation. I'm in the shade 710 and that's what I'm wearing on my face today. Now I've not used a primer. On the website it says to like cleanse your face and prime, and I don't think that that's necessarily meaning that you have to use a primer, but you know, a lot of us here on YouTube, we tend to use primers, which I hardly ever use a primer myself because I don't feel like that they really benefit me in any way. Now my skin is more like normal to dry, I guess you could say. So maybe if your skin is oilier, maybe you need to use a primer or whatever. But I've tried this foundation now for several days. I've used it with a brush. I've used it with a sponge. I did use it with a primer. I couldn't tell that it did anything any different than not using a primer. But I thought, since I mainly use foundations without priming first, then I would give a better review to just use this like I normally do with any foundation that I use. So I've not used it with a primer today. I found out that I do like how it applies and covers better with a brush. There's not a big difference in the sponge and the brush, but I really like using it, applying it with the brush. And I really love the finish that it gives. I feel like that it doesn't look like I have foundation on, that I feel like it looks more like my natural skin. It covers the red. It's a buildable foundation, and so I put just a little more. I'll have a demo in this video and you'll see that I've applied a little more like on my red places that I complain about all the time. And one application covered it good, but then when I put just a little more on those places, it covered it even better. Okay, I got my foundation at Walmart, and I paid $9.98 for it. And at my Walmart, they just had like 6 different shades. I think since then, they've got a few more in. But when I looked on the website, they had like 14 different shades. And you know, that's most of our complaint when we go to a drugstore with a foundation. A lot of them, they don't have a large shade range. So that is usually my complaint with the drugstore foundation, is finding a shade that suits me. Okay, this is this foundation. The claims on it is that it's infused with vitamin E, vitamin B3, B5 plus an SPF of 20. And it says for correction, protection, and perfection all in one. And it does claim to be a full coverage. Now for me, I would consider this a full coverage, which I don't have a lot, apart from my redness, I don't have a lot to cover. But I would consider this a full coverage foundation. It's not, most of the full coverage foundations that I've ever used seem to be more of a thicker texture, where this is not all that thick, but it's lightweight. Now, I have never been able to, I just can't tolerate a heavy foundation that I feel on my face. You know, I like for my makeup to put my makeup on and know it's there without feeling like it's there, you know. And so it says it's lightweight and that it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and that's how it works for me. I don't feel that it doesn't feel heavy. I've also not used any powder anytime with this, because I'll usually not use a powder unless it's a foundation that I know is more dewy, and where this is like, on me, I feel like this is like a semi-matte finish. It's not completely matte, but it's not a dewy finish. And usually I'll not use a powder unless I'm using a foundation that's more of a dewy finish. So I've not used any powder anytime that I've used this foundation, because I don't feel the need. Now, later on in the day, excuse my voice, where I've been sick, my voice is kind of bothering me a little bit right now, but the powder, I kind of get a little oily right around the nose area. I tend to do that in the hotter months. And so I still do just a little bit with this foundation. But that's later on in the day when this starts, and it doesn't break down. I've had foundations that as I wear it, as the day goes on, and especially as I get hot, it's just like my foundation just starts falling apart all over my face, just breaking up, especially in around the nose area. And this doesn't seem to do that. Okay, what I was saying before, that this looks more like my natural skin. It also does not seem to show the places that I feel like I have some texture, is kind of mostly in my chin area, and this foundation doesn't seem to emphasize that like some foundations that I've used. And it also does not seem to like cake up and gather up in my fine lines and wrinkles either. Now it does, it takes it a few minutes to kind of dry down and not feel tacky like on the skin. I also like the packaging on this with the clear lid. Mine's kind of dirty right now, but I do like the packaging. Now this has a fragrance with it that when I first used it, it seemed to be really, really strong. And I don't know if I've just got used to it, or maybe where it's just kind of working out. The fragrance does not seem to bother me now like it did in the beginning. Now it's a nice fragrance, a lot better than the Covergirl 3-in-1 foundation. To me is the hardest for me to handle, because I think it smells like paint. But this has like a perfumey scent that I can tolerate better, and once I put it on my face, that fragrance just fades away. So I like that it doesn't linger. If you tried this foundation, leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of it. And if you have any questions, leave those as well. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button, and that little bell will let you know when I'm going to be uploading a new video. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.